This is question number 9 on the November 2013 higher non-calculator paper. Okay, so let's just read through this question first. At first glance, I know it's a question about questionnaires, and these are fairly standard, and given this question is worth 4 marks, I'm going to try to make sure that I'm getting full marks in this question if I was doing it in an exam. Number 9, Julia is investigating how much exercise people do in a week. She uses 2 questions in a questionnaire. What is your age? And she has the ages there, right? I could see already that these ages, 15 and 15, 25 and 25, 40, okay, that's over 40, but the 15s and the 25s overlap. How much exercise do you do? Okay, so I could see the issue there as well, and it says a bit, some, and a lot. So the problems with this questionnaire are pretty typical. First of all, you have overlapping options. You also have no time frame in the question. She wants to know how much exercise do they do in a week, and she doesn't say that in her question. And also, the options aren't particularly specific. A bit, some, a lot, those would vary from one person to the other. So I have several options that I could do. Also, just notice that there isn't an option for none in how much exercise you do. So a bit, some, a lot. What if somebody doesn't do any exercise at all? And if you were asking the question, how much exercise do you do? You want to measure that in some way, so you will want something like hours to measure it in, and you need to be more specific in the question. So write down one thing wrong with each of these questions. So each of these questions. So the first one, I'm going to put the overlapping options. So the options are overlapping. So if somebody says their age is 25, right, they could either be in either of these options here, 15 to 25, 25 to 40, and that's sufficient there. And for question 2, how much exercise do you do in a week? So there's no time frame in the question. I could also put there's no option for none. I could also say that the options aren't specific. It's not like 1 hour, 2 hours, or however many hours. That is sufficient to get me the 2 marks. And these answers aren't particularly unique. Most of the questions on questionnaires, right, these sort of answers are what you'll be given. Let's look at part B to the question. In part B, the question says, Julia wants to know how much time people spend exercising. So, how much time people spend exercising. Design a question Julia could use in her questionnaire. So, design a question. Now, even though it says design a question, you need to write the question and the option boxes. So, the question could simply be, how many hours do you exercise in a week? Okay, and that is enough, right, for my question. How many hours do you exercise in a week? There's a time frame in a week, specific to the amount of hours, the amount of time that people spend. And now I'm going to create just 4 option boxes. 1, 2, 3, and here's a 4th one. Okay, doesn't need to be a word art, but if you do take time and you make sure that it's presented clearly, you're not going to risk losing any marks. Okay, and I'm going to indicate how many hours exercise do you do in a week. So I'm going to say none for people who don't do any exercise at all. I'm going to put 1 to 5 hours. I'm going to put 6 to 10 hours. and then I'm going to put more than 10 hours. So those are my responses, and those are the options for part B, and that should be sufficient to get me full marks for this whole question. Make sure you're really familiar with this, and if a question of this type comes up, you're able to do it and you're able to get full marks in it.